This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, on the X-Zone TV show, coming soon to screens of all sizes. On the X-Zone TV show, we'll investigate UFOs, ghosts, alien abductions, demonic possession, psychic phenomenon, angels, lake monsters, Bigfoot, unsolved mysteries, and all subject matter from within the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, and much, much more. The X-Zone TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, www.xzonetv.com, is a rel-mar McConnell media company and Airplay Media production. Unwilling to be the government's deadly assassin, gifted psychic Kahara Mitchell went AWOL and ended up buried under rubble in the wake of a great tsunami. She regained consciousness far from Earth on the medical ship of a Daguerreonian intergalactic fleet. Has she been rescued or abducted by aliens? The Chalice of Carrie, Kahira O'Donnell's latest paranormal science fiction romance, is the passionate story of an Earthwoman and her destined mates, twin kings from another galaxy. Kahara uses her gifts fighting alongside Lords Rom and Ra in a war that will determine the destiny of galaxies. The Chalice of Carrie by Kahira O'Donnell is now available at KahiraO'Donnell.com or at Amazon.com.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And you can listen to the X-Zone 724-365 at www.xzoneradiotv.com. And we'd like to say hello to our over 400 brand new affiliates on Starcom Radio Network. So to everyone out there, from everyone here at the X-Zone and the X-Zone Nation around the world, welcome to the X-Zone Nation. My guest this hour is Joanne EADIE, and we're going to be talking to Joanne about a very special event that is happening in Brantford, Ontario on June 26, 27, and 28 of this year. It's the Alien Cosmic Expo, and they're going to be featuring speakers and exhibitors and touching the most interesting aspects of the paranormal and parapsychology, including UFOs, extraterrestrials, out-of-body experiences, alien encounters, past life and interlife regression, soul readings, psychics, and much more. Joining me now from Brantford, Ontario, is Joanne EADIE. And Joanne, welcome to the X-Zone.
Well, thank you, Rob. I'm just so pleased to be here tonight and talk about our favorite event coming up.
It's an exciting time.
It is.
My good.
You take all this time to put it together, and then all of a sudden it's 5-6 weeks away. So
That's right. Now it's going to be held at the Best Western Plus in what is it? The Best Western Plus Brant Park Inn.
Brant Park Inn. Yeah, it's a very long name, isn't
Yeah.
it? But it's right off the highway, so it's right off the exit of the Wayne Gretzky Parkway,
Yeah.
and that's always a plus when you're going, traveling to an event that it's so easy to find.
Sure. Now tell me this, Joanne. Why Brantford?
Okay. Well, as a matter of fact, just last week there was a sighting that was reported, and I think they're coming in to check out the venue, to tell you the truth. But there was, a documented sighting about 3 or 4 miles away from the venue that we're holding this at. Brantford seems to be a hot spot for sightings. And the Six Nations Reserve that's just outside of Brantford, it's kind of like a well-known but kept secret that there are some of the natives that can call in the spaceships.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, I mean, you can say, "Oh, really?" But people like James Borg, who is part of the expo, he does sky watches where he sets up sounds, and they have all the infrared equipment and the goggles and the binoculars and everything else, and from what I've told, most often when he does this, they do sight something.
Do you think that now I've talked to guests before who tell me that First Nations usually have their reservations or their area focal points near zones of mystery. And do you think that this is why the correlation between the reservation, the proximity to where you're going to be holding your Alien Cosmic Expo and this latest sighting, is that all part of what so many people so long ago actually knew, that we're just rediscovering all this now?
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
All I know is that the Six Nations Reserve is south of Brantford, but also north of Brantford, around a little town outside Brantford called St. George.
Right.
Is also known. It's a very rural area, and many people who have lived out there for a lot of years will talk about how there were a couple of older ladies who lived out there that had a lot of experiences that way, and they had a lot of sightings out that way. And of course, it's just talked about almost like whispers within the community. It's never reported in the paper. However, Bob Mitchell he was originally from outside of Brantford, but he lives in Brantford now, is one of our speakers and has written a book on the incident at Pleasant Ridge.
Right.
And it's just south of Brantford, in near Mount Pleasant. And it was the farm of the local Crown prosecutor, Charles Borda. And it was the Borda farm. And so he's written the book now, all this time later. This happened back in the 70s, but it wasn't openly talked about. But the very next day after the incident, the black limousine showed up, and so that sort of indicates the government officials that want to make sure that there's nothing to report.
All right, stand by, Joanne. You and I have to take our first commercial break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Exo Nation, our special guest this hour is Joanne EADIE. We're talking about the Alien Cosmic Expo 2015, Brantford, Ontario, June 26, 27, 28. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The Alien Cosmic Expo will be held in Brantford, Ontario, June 26, 27, 28, and will feature 24 internationally acclaimed experts and researchers of UFOs, crop circles, alien abductions, and much more in this 3-day 2015 summer Canadian event. Experts in the field of extraterrestrials and alien encounters, out-of-body experiences, past life regression, soul reading, psychic, and mediumship will all be presented with professionalism, integrity, and credibility, making the Alien Cosmic Expo the largest event of its kind in Canada for 2015. The exhibitor hall will feature a spectacular lineup of gifted mediums, psychics, astrologers, channelers, aura photography, healers, as well as books, DVDs, alternative health products, crystals, jewelry, and much more, completing the venue with something for everyone. For all information and to purchase your tickets for the Alien Cosmic Expo, go to www.aliencosmicexpo.com. That's www.aliencosmicexpo.com.
Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, on the X-Zone TV show, coming soon to screens of all sizes. On the X-Zone TV show, we'll investigate UFOs, ghosts, alien abductions, demonic possession, psychic phenomenon, angels, lake monsters, Bigfoot, unsolved mysteries, and all subject matter from within the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, and much, much more. The X-Zone TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, www.xzonetv.com, is a rel-mar McConnell media company and Airplay Media production. Joanne EADIE is one of the organizers of the Alien Cosmic Expo 2015 that's being held in Brantford, Ontario, June 26, 27, 28 at Best Western Plus Brant Park Inn in Brantford. It's right off of the highway. Their website is www.aliencosmicexpo.com. Now, some of the speakers that those who are going to be attending will hear is our good friend Stanton Friedman, Paul Hellier, Jason Martell, Grant Cameron, Patty Greer. I'm just going to go through the list fast. Wes Roberts, Sandy Mack, Susan Collins, Bob Mitchell, Mark St. Germain, and of course our good friend Georgina Cannon, as well as the one and only Michael Horn. Looking forward to seeing a lot of old friends at this wonderful event.
And you know, putting this together, Rob, Heather and I are hypnotists.
Yeah.
I'm a master board-certified consulting hypnotist, and I'm the director of the Canadian Hypnosis Conference. And we had a speaker there last year, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, who spoke on how the bulk of her practice are people who believe that they have had an experience with aliens or in a spaceship or being taken or contact. And so it's her job to sort out the people who just think that, the people who actually have, and to deal with the aftermath of it. Sometimes there's post-traumatic stress, sometimes there's sleeplessness, nightmares, and some others have fairly positive experiences. And they now call them experiencers, not abductees. And so Leslie was speaking on that at the conference, and then just through a series of synchronicities, we ended up the event planners, Heather and I, of the Alien Cosmic Expo. Previous to that I had thought about spaceships and aliens and seen movies on TV, Close Encounters of the Third Kind and all that stuff, but not really a topic that was like near and dear to my heart. It wasn't something that I was just devouring or anything like that. So when Heather, we're just good event planners. So when we started to put this event together, we started learning so much more about it, but absolutely got these world-renowned speakers quite by accident. We were given a list, and some we knew, some we didn't, knew of. I guess that'd be the better way to say it. And, we started asking different ones and putting the program together, and it was so funny how the lesser-known people either were busy or didn't even answer our emails. And we ended up with, I think, just an absolute world-renowned lineup. At least that's what we've been told, quite by synchronicity. I think it's all meant to be. Some of the people were people I knew that rounded out the program. And actually, all the speakers are being interviewed every Sunday night on a show called Contact. And so they're all archived on the website. So if you want to go back and listen to some of them, just to get a little bit of a handle on some of the names you don't know. And as you said, some of the more well-known names, Stanton Friedman and Paul Hellyer and Grant Cameron and Jason Martell from the History Channel and Patty Greer. She's just amazing. She speaks on crop circles. Now, that is something I've sort of been interested in because I just find the patterns fascinating. And you and I had quite a discussion on that, on, whether they're real, whether they're tromped down by the farmer overnight or whether, it's a spaceship that's imprinting this or lasers, or how are these acres and acres of pattern being done? And Patty has a new theory on this, and it as a dowser, which I am, it makes sense to me that the energies are coming up through the earth overnight and making these patterns.
But why would these energies only come to certain spots? Like, we've heard about the crop circles in Great Britain.
Right.
And yet it seems as if other parts of the world, if there are crop circles, don't get the same attention that Great Britain crop circles get.
Right.
Like how many crop circles have we had here in Canada?
I think Great Britain has a really old, civilization where, and they have sacred sites.
Right. That
makes it more newsworthy.
I see.
They have Stonehenge, and these, in Europe, dowsing was always huge when they were putting up all the buildings the old buildings that they have. I mean, they have buildings from the, 6th century, 13th century, things like that, and these buildings, they always dowsed how to put the building on the land, how to lay the bricks, and things like that. And this is why they stood the test of time. And then dowsing has kind of gone by the wayside in North America, where, they're building surveys and they just make them in any shape or form that looks nice or whatever. And you're not going to see the same longevity as the buildings in Europe that were dowsed out, and every stone chosen, and great care done when building them.
So tell me, how does dowsing work? What is the methodology behind dowsing?
Okay, well, everybody's a dowser, they just don't know they
Really?
are.
Okay.
See that? You're a dowser, Rob.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Because we all have this inner intuition.
Okay.
You all will have those experiences where the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, where the hairs on your arms stand up, where you just know something. You just have a feeling about something or an intuition about something. Well, dowsing is a way to access that information on a regular basis. So when the pendulum or the L-rods, now the L-rods represent the old dowsers who broke a branch off a tree that looked like a Y.
Right.
And they held on to the Y part, walked along with the stick pointing up, the stick part of the Y pointing up. And when they came across the water vein, the stick actually pointed down, and that indicated where it was. So the stick or the L-rods or the pendulum, whatever dowsing tool you're using, it is an outward visual of the information coming forth from what you already know.
Wow.
So your muscles are actually feeling where that water is. And so that makes the instrument react that's in your hand.
So basically, if I understand it correctly, we complete a type of electric circuit.
Yes, absolutely. You got it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What was it? What
I
was it
dowsed
that got
the well
you?
on our farm.
Okay.
And I found, and I'm not by any means a professional dowser. I love dowsing and I use it all the time, but I can't say that I'm the world's best dowser. But anyway, I had Susan Collins, who's one of our speakers, and she's going to be speaking on orbs and the part that they play. You know, we all have those little orbs in the pictures we're taking.
Yes.
And she's going to talk about how they play a part in our lives and in all this, what has to do with the spaceships and the aliens and the messages. And she is a spectacular dowser, and she is a professional dowser. She's traveled all over the world and taught dowsing and et cetera. But she was teaching a dowsing class on our property, our 50-acre farm. And so then we all went out, we're practicing, and one fella said, "Oh, I found a well, and it's 40 feet down, but there's only one thing, it's sulfur water." And she said, "But if you had done it the way I taught it, which was your intention is to have pure potable water, you wouldn't have found the sulfur water." So your intention, what you form in your mind, is all part of the exercise. So when I got enough courage to douse where I wanted the well, number one, you want it near the house so that, the pipes going into the house aren't going to be, 80 feet long.
Yeah.
So you start to douse around the house where it would be, a good place to put the well. And then I formed the intention that I wanted potable water. I wanted it 6 to 8 gallons a minute minimum. I wanted it no more than 40 feet down because you don't want to drill your well too deep. And so I found what I thought was the perfect spot. So, of course, then I brought in an older dowser that I trust. His name is Lloyd Nuttall, and he's from Kingston, and he came in to check my work because, there's a lot of money involved in drilling the well, so you want to make sure it's correct. So the interesting thing I found out, he said, "You have picked a good spot." He said he could tell where the vein was coming in, and it had more than 8 gallons of water. But he said, "I'm going to move it over just a couple of feet." And I said, "Well, why is that?" And he said, "Because this way you're catching the vein you found, but there's one on the other side that's coming in the other way, and we're going to put it right where they cross."
Wow.
Isn't that fascinating?
It truly is.
Yeah. And so then when the fellow who was going to drill the well came, I was very closely watching him. Because you see, they're all dowsers as well, but they don't want you to see that. So he once again, he dowsed very different than I had ever seen before. He took a coat hanger and just made a long thing, and he held it between his palms and rubbed his palms back together, and then that thing moved when it found the spot. But anyway, I was watching him, and he was checking also. but he says, I don't let the customers know that because a lot of people don't believe in dowsing or they don't think it's possible.
It seems, Joanne, that the people in our past knew so much.
Yes.
Than,
well, they had to.
Than we know, yeah.
And dowsing is in the Bible in multiple spots. Susan Collins wrote a small little ebook, I think it is, but she actually printed it, but it's also an ebook on all the places that it appears in the Bible where thy rod and thy staff.
Right.
Yes, and how Moses found water in the desert for the people, and
until you just said it, I never made that connection between the rod and dowsing.
Yes.
It makes perfect sense.
And they struck the rock, and the water came forth.
All right, stand by, dear. You and I have to take our news break. We'll be back on the other side. X-Zone Nation, our special guest this hour is Joanne EADIE. She is one of the organizers of the Alien Cosmic Expo that's being held in Brantford, Ontario, June 26, 27, 28.
TV show.
And their website is aliencosmicexpo.com.
On the X-Zone
We'll be
TV
back
show,
on the
we'll
other side of this
investigate
news break.
UFOs,
Whatever you do, don't go away.
ghosts, alien abductions, demonic possession, psychic phenomenon, angels, lake monsters, Bigfoot, unsolved mysteries, and all subject matter from within the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, and much, much more. The X-Zone TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, www.xzonetv.com, is a rel-mar McConnell media company and Airplay Media production.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. www.aliencosmicexpo.com is the website to get all the information about the Alien Cosmic Expo 2015. That is happening this June 26, 27, 28, just down the road from us here in Hamilton and Brantford. It's a great little city. I've got a good friend of mine who is a lawyer in Brantford, and I know he listens to us, Paul Stillman. Hey, Paul. And it's going to be held at the Best Western Plus Brant Park Inn in Brantford. And if you go to www.aliencosmicexpo.com, it's got every little bit of information that you will need to make a very simple decision. I want to be there. It's that simple, you know? And Joanne and Heather have done a great job in putting together some of the most, well, let me just give you a few names. Stanton Friedman, a good friend of the Exome. Paul Hillier has been on this show. Jason Martell. When I look at your speaker list, I'm saying, my God, how did they get our guest list from the show? So tell me, what are some of the packages that people can put together to buy?
Yeah. I just, before I go to that, I want to talk a little bit about the exhibitors we have, the vendors in the exhibitor hall. Mm-hmm. Now, most of the speakers have a table so that they can, if you want to buy their book, have a picture taken with them, get an autograph, and they also have DVDs and on their topic and everything. Mm-hmm. But over and above that, we have psychic readers, mediums, channelers, we have tea leaf readers, we have products such as Ormus Gold. Larry Campbell, one of our speakers, he's from down east, and a more humble fellow you'll never find. And he was told that in midlife that he would be doing this kind of work that he's doing now, and he actually channels in a group from ancient Egypt.
Wow. And
they tell him how to make these copper instruments. Mm-hmm. And so he's on our website. You can look him up. But so if you want to come to all 3 days, there's a 3-day package. And then if you want just to come Friday or Saturday or Sunday, there's a day pass. Then Friday morning from 8 till 10, there's a continental breakfast. Now, you do have to sign up, just so we know the number's coming, but it's free. And it's a chance to meet and greet all the speakers and rub elbows with them and have pictures taken with them, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have, if you just want to come to the evening programs, we have Stanton Friedman, Grant Cameron, and it's just gone out of my head. Let me look here.
Well, this is what happens when you're doing so much. You know, every one of us believe we
Jason
can...
Martell and Paul Hellier, they're the evening speakers. And you can just buy a ticket to the evening if that's... maybe you're working all day Saturday and Sunday. So you can come in and just hear the speakers at night for $25 and $35, you know, whichever one you're choosing. Mm-hmm. And then if we have something for everybody's budget, because perhaps you can only afford some of the speakers, or perhaps you're only interested in some of the speakers. Maybe you just want to come and hear about crop circles. You can make up your own package almost, because if you just want to go in and hear a speaker, you can buy that for $25. So you can just sort of pick and choose. Oh, I don't want to see every speaker. I just want to see this one and this one and this one. So it would cost you $75 as opposed to a 3-day pass, which is $298. Of course, every ticket has HST. We can't avoid that.
No. You know, I'm looking at all the speakers that you're going to have there. And it's like a kid walking into a candy store. Or a kid walking into a toy store. You know, once again, I'm just going over some of the names. Michael Telstar, I've known Michael for nearly 20 years, and he is truly one of Canada's best paranormal entertainers. Like, this guy is great. Yeah. And, you know, like I said, Stanton Friedman, Paul Hellier, Patty Greer, Grant Cameron, Jason Martell. Like, we're talking about the cream of the crop here, young lady.
Yes. And Jason Quitt is a young man in his 30s. If you come and hear his talk, you will just be blown away by this young man. Truly an indigo, truly someone who knows what he's talking about. You can tell he has a fascinating story of being taken from his bed at night when he was young and taken to ancient Egypt and downloaded information every night. It's a fascinating story. I mean, things like this, you know it's truth when you're listening to him.
Exactly.
He is just that knowledgeable.
You know what I love about your event is,
Tell me,
is the credibility of all the speakers.
Yes, absolutely.
There is not one woo-woo in there.
No.
And when I've spoken to other organizers or I've been invited to other events, the woo-woo factor is what it's all about. But when I'm looking at your list and what you're doing, there's one word, credibility. There's another word, professionalism.
Well, that's what we were shooting for. When we started to put this together, I said to Heather, I want this put together with professionalism, credibility, and integrity.
And you've done it.
We don't want the man in the plaid shirt with a tinfoil hat and everybody laughing at him.
All right, I'll make sure my father doesn't go.
And you know, that's the picture that people get in their minds
That's
sometimes.
right.
But these speakers are so well known and respected in this field and in the world.
That's true. That's true. Stanton Friedman, he is what I call the grandfather of
The
ufology.
grandfather, absolutely.
Paul Hillier,
and,
the former...
he has a DVD on Barney and Betty Hill.
Yep.
And also a book. And that is a fascinating story. If you're just getting into all this and you want to learn more, that is a fascinating story to read.
You know, Paul Hillier, the former Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, for goodness sake.
Yeah, and you know, he's 91 years old.
Yeah.
And when he's speaking, you're just riveted. Like, he is such a, well, of course, he was in politics for so long, so all politicians are good speakers, but he just knows his topics so well.
He certainly does.
And his latest book, The Money Mafia, is just truly fascinating. I've read it, and he just speaks so eloquently on the topics that he talks about. He'll be speaking a couple of times, and you know, if you don't get there are 2 or 3 rooms running at all times, so you know, you're saying, oh, I don't know which one to pick. Well, if you don't hear Jason this time, he's speaking 3 times throughout the weekend, Jason Martell. So you're going to hit one of his talks.
One of my
or all 3 if that's your favorite speaker.
One of my favorite ladies, Georgina Cannon, is going to be there.
Oh, yes. She's my hypnosis teacher. And so knowledgeable. Now, she had a series on the CBC several years ago where she did past life regressions. Yeah. And the final 3 that they ended up filming completely and showing over the 5 weeks, they actually did the past life regression, and then they were able to go to the country where they felt they had lived before. And the one was fascinating to me because he was in Ireland in a monastery. And when they flew there and found the monastery that was still there, of course, because those monasteries were built, like I was talking at the beginning of the show about dowsing and whatnot. And so as he entered and was able to walk through the monastery, he could almost tell you what each closet was for and what rooms were where, and like he remembered it that distinctively. And then there was one that was in Poland and one in India, and all 3 were very, they actually found the details that Georgina had found under hypnosis in the past life regression.
She is truly a wonderful lady.
She really is, and she speaks at the Canadian Hypnosis Conference as well. Last year one of her workshops was the top attendance. Like everybody wanted to be in that class. We almost thought we had to have to close the class.
Well, you know what? This is something else that is great about the Alien Cosmic Expo, because people are going to come and see exactly what you and I are talking about tonight, and they'll know, listen, I listened to Joanna and Rob, and they were talking about Michael Horn, they were talking about Michael Telstar, they were talking about Stanton Friedman, they were talking about Paul Hillier. Yeah. And you know what? They were right.
Yeah. And then we've got people like Gord Ellison, who's an Ojibwe medium, and Sandy Max coming from Arizona.
Yep.
Fascinating lady. She is the former first woman elected president of the American Society of Dowsers. She works with abductees or experiencers. She is going to be doing a demonstration of how she works with someone. She'll be choosing somebody from the audience ahead of time and working with them in front of everyone. And she has a very distinct method that she uses that nobody else really uses, where she will take you through hypnosis. She takes you right into the spaceship that you think that you were, like that you remember, almost like the past life regression, except it's this life regression.
Right.
And she takes you right into the control room. And she has the laws of the universe, and she goes with you, and she lays down the laws of the universe. And she said, it's against the laws of the universe to take these people and have data on them. We want all the data pulled on this person right now. We want all the data that goes back to the mothership. We want it now, and it's through the life rules. You must give it to us. And then they, she's just fascinating.
It almost sounds as if some of these ETs are not mining our food, not mining our resources. They're mining our minds.
Yes. Some of them are.
Wow.
And she knows all the different species, and she sorts that all out with you. And so she works very differently than someone else does, but everybody has their own methods of helping someone.
I've gone through your list here many times, and I'd just like to say this, Joanne. Exo Nation, if there is anyone listening tonight who can make it to the Alien Cosmic Expo, especially if you have questions about something that happened to you, you're not sure, or if something you don't want to, you feel as if you can't get it off your chest. No one will believe you. Experts from around the world, I'm talking about experts in these fields, will be accessible to you.
In the exhibitor hall,
Exactly.
And the exhibitor hall doesn't cost anything. If you have no money at all and you just want to come and talk to these people, now, if you have a session with them, of course they'll charge for the session. But you can tell your story and talk to other people. There'll be other experiences there wandering around, and you'll just synchronistically meet them. And as you say, you'll be able to tell your story to people who won't tell you you're crazy.
That's right. That's right, because everyone has a story, Joanne.
Yeah,
after doing this for 23 years, everyone has a story, but many of us, many people out there, do not give others the opportunity to tell their story.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. And by bringing these people, whether they're in the exhibition hall or whether they're these great speakers that you've brought together, people can tell their stories, because the speakers, the exhibitors, they will listen.
And they're interested in
Exactly.
this. They're very, very interested in your experience. And they'll leave it to them to sort out.
But after all is said and done, what it will do, in my opinion, is let the people know who have doubts that people do care, that they are not alone. This is happening to other people.
Oh, thousands and thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
When we first started putting this together, we went on Facebook and we started looking up groups of this. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
This is just such a huge topic.
It is.
And then putting it together when we had to phone different, people to do certain things. Like we phoned a travel agent just about one thing, about bus tours and things like that. And, you know, all of a sudden she's telling us, well, you know, my husband and I have had an experience.
Yeah.
And then we were talking to some website people about our SEOs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden the girl said, oh, I just love this topic. You know, I have had an experience. You know, we couldn't believe how many people we were running into just putting it together.
Do you know how I can tell you are so right and that you've hit it right on? Because I remember going back 24 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got the experience.
Started one station. And then when we went on air, people started coming out of the woodwork.
Yes.
Because they were not alone. You know, I'm sure you know this poster. The truth is out there. In my opinion, the truth is in here, and I'm pointing to my chest. Because I believe we all have the truth, but it's been suppressed by so many ways that we question our own sanity. But the truth is in here.
Did I really see that?
Exactly.
What was that?
Uh-huh. You and I have to take our final break for this hour, my dear friend. Please stand by, Joanne.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining us. I know how busy you are, and it means a lot that you took an hour out of your time to join us here tonight.
Well, thank you.
Stand by. Exo Nation, Joanne EADIE is our very special guest. She is the organizer, along with Heather, of the Alien Cosmic Expo 2015. It is in Brantford, Ontario. All the information is at www.aliencosmicexpo.com. And Joanne and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center, just down the road from Brantford in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
What if someone told you you could live to be 120? Would you believe him? What if he told you the Bible guaranteed it? All you needed to do was follow his rules and buy his products. Would you do it? What if you invested 20 years of your life in him? What if he tested his substances on your child? What if your child became brain damaged as a result? Meet Dr. Tyler Belknap, a fast-talking Texas admin turned health guru. At the helm of a vast health food and supplement empire, he has established himself as the authority on nutrition and longevity. But what his followers don't know is that his products are laced with bizarre psychoactive substances from genetically modified plants developed in his very own secret lab. No wonder his customers can't stop using them. Tyler Belknap will stop at nothing to keep his edge in the market, even if it means experimenting on children. Chasing 120, a story of food, faith, fraud, and the pursuit of longevity, a novel from the pen of political cartoonist Monty Wolverton, is an easy and entertaining read full of rich characters and intrigue. It hits home in a world filled with all kind of hucksterism and offers a glimpse of what can happen when GMO technology falls into the wrong hands. Chasing 120 by Monty Wolverton. Get your copy today at www.ptm.org/120 or on Amazon.com.
When demystified, shamanism is an ancient science delving into the quantum level of life. Understanding and implementing basic shamanic principles can empower the individual to heal, manifest, and evolve in these rapidly changing times. Path Home Shamanic Art School is a one-of-a-kind Colorado State certified occupational school training and certifying shamanic practitioners and teachers. We also train individuals simply interested in empowering and enriching their lives through shamanism. Path Home's certification classes are in a week-long block format, enabling national and international students to participate. We also provide online classes and long-distance shamanic healing sessions as well. Discover all you can be. Enter the limitless world of shamanism today. For more information, visit findyourpathhome.com or call 303-775-3431.
Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
All right, Exonation, everybody, take out your agenda. Go to your online agenda. Pick up your iPad. Pick up your iPhone. I want you to check a date for me. 3 dates. June 26, 27, 28. What have you got planned? Nothing? Boy, do I have a great news for you. June 26, 27, 28 in Brantford, Ontario, which is just down the road from Hamilton. There's going to be, at the Best Western Plus Brant Park Inn, the Alien Cosmic Expo 2015. There, you'll have the opportunity of meeting, as I've been saying over this past hour, people like Stanton Friedman, Paul Hellier, Jason Martell, Grant Canyon, Patty Greer, let me see who else, David Whitehead, Len Caston, Wes Roberts, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, Michael Telstar, who's been on the show many times, Sandy Mack, let me see, Jason Quitt, Mark St. Germain, of course, the sweetheart of the hypnosis world, and that's Georgina Cannon, and Michael Horn, another good friend of the X Zone. And they're all going to be at the Alien Cosmic Expo. Mm-hmm. My guest this hour is one of the organizers. There are two organizers. Joanne EADIE is our guest this hour. Now, Exonation, do me a favor. Go to www.aliencosmicexpo.com. Read all about it, like extra, read all about it. Make plans to be there. This is an opportunity that does not come around that often, where you get these world-class speakers, these world-class researchers all in one place.
All in one place in one weekend.
Exactly.
There are smaller events that maybe are one day long or whatever, but to have this many experts gathered at once hasn't been done this way in Canada, as far as we know. And someone we have forgotten to talk about was Len Caston.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be talking about planet Serpo. Now, this is a fascinating story, and I'm just going to leave it at there. You have to come and hear him. Planet Serpo. And apparently they sent astronauts there to live there for 13 years. And it's all, a big secret and covered up, but of course Len has blown the lid off that. So another fascinating guest.
And over the next 4 or 5 weeks, Exonation, we are going to be bringing some of these speakers on the show to talk about what you have to look for when you go on June 26, 27, 28 to the Alien Cosmic Expo. That's going to be in Brantford, Ontario. Once again, all the information is at www.aliencosmicexpo.com.
And I know your show goes worldwide. And if you're a camper, we have the Brent Park, which the campgrounds, and you can go and camp for the weekend and just come to the expo during the day. And it's a beautiful 450-acre campground, and so if camping's your forte, or perhaps you're from the States and you want to bring the big Winnebago, and you've got a place to camp. But further than that, after the expo, you can go home through Buffalo and see Niagara Falls. Do you know how many Americans haven't seen Niagara Falls?
No.
I'm going to be taking one or two of the speakers there after the
Well, there you go. Hey, Joanne, you and I have to say so long for tonight. You're going to be back on. Heather's going to be on. We're going to bring the speakers. thank you for doing a great job. I look forward to meeting you and Heather and a lot of
In
old
person,
friends in
yeah.
person. So until next time you and I meet, thanks for being with us tonight. We appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, and we look forward to talking to you and your great speakers over the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you, Rob.
You take care now. X-Zone Nation, Joanne EADIE's been my guest. All right, you ready? AlienCosmicExpo.com. I'll be back on the other side of the news at 6.5 minutes past the hour. Don't go away.